On the evening of May 23rd, 1970, a group of kids were playing on Anglesea's Britannia Bridge with a burning torch. With its tar-coated roof, this would trigger a devastating fire. Fire crews battled all night to get the fire under control, to no prevail, and the bridge burned all night. The new railway bridge connecting the mainland to Anglesea burnt down, and the next day the full extent of the damage was realised. Despite the best efforts of the Carnarvonshire and Anglesea fire departments, the bridge's height, construction and lack of adequate water supply meant they were unable to control the fire, which spread all the way across to the mainland. And the integrity of the structure had been compromised by the intense heat. The Royal Engineers were quickly brought in to save the bridge. A new upper deck was installed on July 1980, and over 10 years after the fire, the new road crossing was completed.
Invited to a party by a girl, and we went to the house, and her parents had gone out and locked the house, so we decided to go down to the tube for a walk. We crossed over this stile and we just went into the tube.
How far into the tunnel did you go?
About 10 yards.
What did you go in there for?
Well, none of us had been down there before, we just wanted to see what it was like.
And what was it like? Could you see anything?
I couldn't see nothing much. There was only a noise coming from behind the girders.
Was there a lot of rubbish and paper lying about?
No, not really.
Well now, how did you come to light a fire or strike a match or whatever it was? What happened?
Well, there was a page of a book on the floor, and I had my lighter. And we lit the paper and threw it in, behind one of the girders.
The fire was developing underneath the roof structure and was travelling through the aperture between the two boxes across the straits. So in actual fact, there was a fire underneath the bridge about 50 yards ahead of the actual fire on the top of the roof structure. The fire had advanced to a point where we had to get in front of it to stop it. We put ground monitors down at the river bank to try and throw water onto the top of the bridge, but the height of the bridge at this point is about 150 feet above water level, and the difficulty of getting a good striking jet across at that point was extremely hard. Most of the water was falling short, and it was at this time that I decided that we had to make an attack from within inside the bridge.
I ran down to see if we could get some other access further on the tunnel, and I saw a railway engineer, and I asked him, can we get anywhere further into the tunnel and out on the bridge someplace? And he said, yes, there's a steel inspection door a good way into the tunnel. Well, I walked for quite a distance in the dark, and it was a horrible experience. I was really scared because the noise in there was terrific. Because it's all a metal tube, you see, and there were clangings, echoing and re-echoing, and series of minor explosions and things. And I was scared. But I was scared? I was scared. It was terrifying. But the noise in there was so terrific, and the clanging noises, and I thought it was metal buckling, you see.
You thought the bridge was going to collapse on you?
Yes, well, it could do, as far as I knew, it could have gone any minute. Anyway, I walked on about 60 or 70 yards, and I hadn't seen a door. And I really thought this is as far as I should go. But I carried on a bit further. I must have passed one door, and I didn't see it. Anyway, I carried on for about another 30 or 40 yards, and I thought, well, this is it, I'm going back. But I saw a door. It was a narrow steel door in the side structure. So I opened it, and I had nearly had my head blown off when I put my head in to have a look back the way I'd come. You see, it's two tunnels in one, and there was a gap of about a yard in between the two. And there was a fire in there raging from one end to the other. It was, and I realized at the time that it had beaten us. The geographical position and the construction of the bridge had beaten us. But I was walking in a sort of a horizontal chimney, and there was a hell of a draw there. And it was terribly hot, and I could hardly breathe in there by now. So I knew this is it, and I went out quick. It was the longest journey I ever had, 100 yards back. The fire was underneath us, on top of us, and on the other side.
It was just like looking into hell itself. There was molten tar, burning tar, pouring down from the bridge structure above. The whole of the bridge roof above was enveloped in a swirling mass of red fire, choking smoke from the burning pitch on the roof above. And I decided that no man was going in there. Bridge or no bridge, this was too dangerous.
Never had a fucking else chance, right from the word go.
I think I knew within minutes of arriving that we had reached a situation that we were not going to cope with. But we had to drive the crews on to make every effort to check this fire. But it was finally about 3 o'clock in the morning when I, with the chief officer, after consultation, decided that there was little more that we could do on this side.
The men of the Anglesey Fire Brigade as well fought the fire through the night, but the smoke and heat were too much for them. Heat that burned through the soles of their boots. In the end, the fire was left to burn itself out, and with the dawn came the big question: why did it happen? As the bridge sullenly smouldered and cooled down, the firemen and others who'd fought the blaze so hard pondered ruefully on the hopelessness of their task.
Looking back, should there have been a water supply available? After all, the bridge was a fire risk, wasn't it?
Yes, but the bridge is on railway property, and the railway look after their own fire prevention arrangements. It would have been ideal if we could have had a hydrant near, but we can't interfere with railway property in that way. We have been on that bridge on fire prevention work with the railway authorities. We knew the risk, we knew exactly what drill to adopt if the bridge did catch fire.
But surely, if you'd been there with the railway authorities, you also knew that there was no water available immediately in advance.
Yes, the railway authorities knew that too. But we always knew there was a man posted on the bridge at either end who used to be a form of caretaker. So there could be no question of trespass when that had happened, but we don't know when this man was withdrawn.
I wish we hadn't gone to no party, you know.